Hello students, and welcome to a new English class. In this video I'm gonna talk about all the verb tenses in one single video, which is going to be a good advantage for students. So let's first start by talking about how many verb tenses. When I ask students in my class how many verb tenses are there in English, very few of them know the exact number. The exact number of verb tenses in English are 12. We have 4 for the past, 4 for the present, and 4 for the future. The 4 verb tenses for the past are past simple, past progressive, past perfect, and past perfect progressive. The same thing for the present. Present simple, present progressive, present perfect, and present perfect progressive. And the same for the future. Future simple, future progressive, future perfect, and future perfect progressive. Now, we're going to go straight and start talking about each verb tense. We're going to talk about the form and the use. Now, in order that you master the verb tenses in English, you have to know these two: the form of the tense and the use, when to use it, and how to form it in a sentence. How does the verb look like in a sentence? Let's start with the first one, which is the simple present. As you see me here, I have a summary of all verb tenses in this page. Now let's start with the simple present. Okay. The form. The form is very simple. With a plural subject, the verb does not change. If it is speak, it's speak. If it is write, it's write. If it is make, it's make. But if the verb is, if the subject is singular, then the verb should take S in an affirmative sentence. For example, I have class Mondays. Let's say other examples. She speaks English. The student speaks English. And in the negative form, we have to use do plus not if the subject is plural, except I is an exception, and we use does plus not if the subject is singular. He does not plus simple verb, and they do not plus simple verb, etc. And in the question, we have to consider the auxiliary do or does to ask a question. Do you speak English? Does he speak English? Etc. Now let's talk about the usage of the verb of the simple present tense. It has different usages. The first one is when we are talking about facts, general truths, habits, and customs. We have to use the simple present tense. For example, I have class Mondays. It's a habit. Okay. It's a habit that I have a class on Mondays. I go to bed at 11 o'clock. It's my habit. Okay, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I have a class. I wake up, I go to bed at 11. These are all different habits. Okay, and also, as I said, when we have a fact, general facts or general truths and customs, like the sun rises in the east. Rises, it's a let's say a fact. Now we also use the simple present tense with frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs are adverbs such as always, usually, sometimes, and never, and these adverbs tell the frequency of the verbs, how frequently we do the action. For example, I always go to the gym. I sometimes go to the gym. I never go to the gym. So always, sometimes, never tell the frequency of the action of going to the gym. So when we have frequency adverbs, we have to use the simple present tense. Also, we use the simple present tense to talk about regular activities and repeated actions. Regular activities and repeated actions. Okay, so I think let's move on to the present continuous. Now, when do we use the present continuous tense? We use the present continuous, and it's also called the present progressive. Let's talk about the form first. The form of the present continuous is the verb should be taken ing and should be preceded by am, is, or are. As simple as this. Am, is, or are before the verb, and then the verb should take ing. I am studying. He is studying. The students are studying. Am, is, or are. And to form the negative form, we just add not to the auxiliary. Now, be is considered auxiliary here. Aim, is, are auxiliary verbs because there is a main verb next to it that takes ing form. And also in the question we have to use inversion. Is he studying? Are you studying? Are they studying? This is how we ask the question. Now let's talk about the use. We use the present continuous tense to talk about actions that are currently in progress. An action that is happening right now. Right now I am speaking English. I am explaining the verb tenses. Okay, and I'm talking about the present continuous tense. So also another usage for the present continuous tense is to talk about an action that will take place in the future or the near future. Are you studying this weekend? Are you studying this weekend? I am traveling this weekend. I'm not traveling now, but I am traveling this weekend. It's an action that will take place in the near future. The present perfect takes this form have or has as auxiliary verbs plus the past participle. I have seen the movie Titanic. He has seen Titanic 5 times. The negative form is formed by just adding not to the auxiliary. I have not seen, he has not seen. And remember that have goes with plural subject and has go or goes with singular subjects. I have, okay, we have, he has. Plural subject take have and singular subject take has. And in the question, we just do inversion. Have you, has she, have they, have the students, has your mother, has your father, plus the rest of the sentence. Now, let's talk about the usage. Okay, so we use the present perfect tense, as I mentioned, to talk about an action that started in the past and continues to the present. When we say, for example, I have just finished the homework, this means that the action started in the past and continues to the present now. I have just finished now. And also we use the present perfect tense to talk about an action that repeats during a period of time from the past to the present. When we repeat the action, okay, different times, we have to use the present perfect to express that. Example, I have visited New York different times. It's not just one time, it's different times, many times. I have visited New York different times. He has seen Titanic 5 times. He has seen Titanic 5 times. So it's a repeated action that happened in the past. So we have to use the present perfect tense. And the last usage is an action that occurred at an indefinite time in the past. So let's put it this way. The difference between simple past and the present perfect is that when we know when the action happened, we have to use simple past. Like, I watched a movie last night. The action of watching the movie happened last night. Now, if the action is not known or you do not want to mention the action, you have to use the present perfect. For example, I have visited Paris. Did I say when? No. So it's either I don't want to mention the time when, okay, or it's not important. It's not important to me. What is important is the action of visiting Paris. So when we talk about an action that happened at an indefinite time, in the past we have to use the present perfect. When the time is definite, on the other hand, we have to use the simple past. If I add, for example, last summer, if I want to mention last summer, I have to say I visited, simple past. Okay, I visited Paris last summer, and here I'm talking about the simple past as well. So we are done with the present perfect. Let's move on to the present perfect continuous. Now, simply the difference between the present perfect and the present perfect continuous is that the present perfect continuous is used to talk about an action that started in the past, continues to the present, and is still going on. It is still going on. Now, how do we form it? We use have or has plus been plus verb ing. Have or has plus been plus verb ing. I have been living in this house for 5 years, for example. She has been working there for years. This means that she started working at that job, okay, in the past, and her working at that job continues to now, and it is still going on. The action of working is still going on. So we use have or has plus been plus verb plus ing. Anytime you hear continuous, this means that the verb has to have ing. Remember this one. This is a good tip. Any tense called progressive or continuous, it means that the main verb has to take ing. Okay, to form the negative, just add not to have or has. She has not been working. I have not been working. And to form the question, just do inversion. Have you been working? Has she been living? Have the children been playing? Okay, yes they have. Yes he has. Yes she has. No, they haven't. Okay, this is for the present perfect continuous. Now let's start the simple past. The simple past is formed by either adding ed to the verb, and we call this type of verbs regular verbs. I liked, I played, I helped, I washed, etc. Or by changing the verb into or conjugating the verb that are irregular into a form of the past, and these verbs are called irregular. Like cat, cats, it doesn't change. Like make becomes made, etc. These are called irregular verbs. The negative form is formed by adding did and not and simple verb. I liked, I didn't like. I played, I didn't play. She made, she didn't make. Okay, so we add did plus not. Short form is didn't plus the verb becomes simple, like, make, write. When we say simple verb, this means that the verb should not be conjugated. It does not show any form of the tense. And the question, we start with did, okay, then the subject, then simple verb. Did you like? Did you make? Did the students do the homework? Did they play? Etc. Now let's talk about the usage. When do we use the simple past tense? We use the simple past tense to talk about an action that happened and finished, started and finished in the past, at a specific time in the past. It could be single action, it could be a single short past action, it could be longer action, and it could be a repeated action. Okay, repeated action as well. And here we have examples. The student liked the class discussion. They didn't like the homework. Did you like the discussion? What did you like about the discussion? Good. Now, very important thing. When we are talking about the simple past, we have to use past time expressions such as yesterday, this morning, last week, last month, a month ago, a week ago, etc. Past time expressions show when the action happened. However, if the action is known between the speaker and the listener, there is no need to use a past time expression. Okay? If I'm talking about a class that the student took yesterday, and it is known between me and the person I'm talking to, there is no need to mention yesterday. So I should say, the student liked the class discussion. And I mean the class discussion of yesterday. There is no need to mention it. Okay, past continuous. When we use the past continuous, or let's talk about the form first. The past continuous or progressive is formed by adding the verb be and then verb ing. The verb be in the past. It's like was or were and verb plus ing. So was watching, were playing, was making, were making, etc. The negative form is formed by adding not to the auxiliary, wasn't making, weren't making, and the question is formed by doing inversion. Was he, were they, plus verbing. Was he making, were they playing, was he watching, etc. Now, when do we use the past continuous or past progressive? It's the same thing. When you hear progressive and continuous, it is the same thing. We use the past continuous to talk about an action in progress at a specific past time. He was watching TV when I called. Now, also often with the simple past in another clause to show the relationship of a longer past action to a short past action. And this is the main usage actually of the past progressive. Let's put it in simple words. We use the past progressive to show or to tell what was happening in progress at a certain time in the past. Okay, let's say somebody called me and I did not pick up the phone, I did not answer. So after that he asks me, I called you, you did not answer me, what were you doing at that moment? So I should say, when you called, I was taking a shower. I was taking a shower when you called. And it doesn't matter, see, short action first and then long action, I was taking a shower, or I was taking a shower, then short action when you called. Now, the short action should be in the simple past and the longer one should be in the past progressive. I was taking a shower is the long action. When you called is the short action, which is in the simple past. Okay. Another example to make it clearer. The lights went out when we were watching a soccer game. The lights went out when we were watching a soccer game. So the lights went out, simple past, short action. And what is the long action that we were doing? And the short action interrupted the big one, the longer one, is that we were watching a soccer game. Remember that the short action sometimes interrupt the longer action in the past. Also, there are expressions that go with the simple past and others that go with the past progressive. Use when with the simple past and use while with the past progressive. While I was taking a shower, the lights, you called me. Okay? While I was taking a shower, you called me. Use when with the short action. I was taking a shower when you called me. When you called me. When plus simple past, while plus past progressive. I hope this is clear and enough for the past progressive. Now let's talk about the past perfect. The past perfect is very simple. We use it when we have two actions in the past. Both of them started and finished in the past. Now, we use the past perfect to refer to the action that happened first, and we use simple past to the action that happened second. And the form of the past perfect is this. We use had plus past participle. Negative form, add not to the auxiliary had. Okay, for the perfect tenses, present perfect tense, we use have or has, but for the past perfects, we use only had, which is very simple. Good. Had plus past participle of the verb, negative had plus not, and the question, do inversion, had he, had she, had they, plus past participle. Had you left, had he left, etc. Back to the usage. When we have two actions, one happened before the other in the past, we use the first one in the past perfect and the second in the simple past. Okay, so example, I had just left when she arrived. Now here we have two actions. Now for us to tell which one happened first and which one happened second is by looking at the verb tense. The one that is in the past perfect is the action that happened first. The one that is in the simple past is the action that happened second. This is how we analyze it. So I had just left. The action of my leaving happened before the action of her arriving. Okay, this is the past perfect. Now, very important thing to mention here. When you use before and after, you don't have to use the past perfect. Why? Because before and after make it clear which one happened first and which one happened second. In this case, use the simple past in both actions. Example, let's try it here. I left before she arrived. So here I don't have to use the past perfect because the word before makes it clear which one happened first and which one happened second. So I left before she arrived, or she arrived after I left. Both of them in the simple past. Now, good. Let's continue with the past perfect continuous. Now, the past perfect continuous is formed by adding or using had plus been plus verb ing. Had been playing, had been making, had been writing, had been playing, had been eating, had been watching, etc. The negative form is formed by adding not to had. Hadn't been playing, hadn't been making, hadn't been trying, hadn't been sleeping, etc. And the question is formed by the inversion of the auxiliary and the verb. Had you been playing? Had she been studying? Plus the rest of the sentence, of course. Usage. A continuous past action that was completed before another past action. Used with action verbs, for example, arrive, ask, eat, and enter. So we use the past perfect continuous to talk about an action that was in progress before another past action. The difference between past perfect and past perfect continuous is that in the past perfect continuous, the action is taking longer action. It's in progressive form. So the movie had been playing for 10 minutes when they arrived. Okay, had been playing for 10 minutes when they arrived. And the movie hadn't been playing for too long when they arrived. Now, a very good question here. What is the difference? What should be the difference between the past perfect continuous and just the past continuous? Two actions. One long plus a short one in the simple past. She was watching TV when I called. The movie had been playing for 10 minutes when they arrived. They look the same. What is the difference? Here is a good tip. In the past continuous, we are interested in the action itself. When we are interested in the action, we have to use the past progressive. I was watching TV when you arrived. Okay? However, in the past perfect continuous, we are interested in how long the action took place. How long, okay? How much time the action took. So here, for 10 minutes, for too long, you will always see 444, the word for, that shows the duration of the action. Okay? I had been taking a shower for 10 minutes before you called, or when you called. Okay? Remember, the past perfect continuous is used when we are interested in how long the action was taking place before another short action happened. Okay, let's move on. Now the future with will. We use, this is basically the simple future, and it is used with will plus simple verb. Always remember to use simple verbs after modal auxiliaries like will, would, can, could. Will is just one of them. The others are might, may, have to, etc. So the usage is future plans, decisions made in the moment, and strong predictions or promises and offers to help. So when we talk about when we want to talk about future plans or decisions made in the moment, okay, we have to use will. I will go to the store. When there is no plan but the plan is made right now, use will. Okay, I will go to the store. He won't go to the store. Negative form. Strong predictions. When we have strong predictions about the future, we use will as well. Will you go to the store? Okay, when will you go to the store? Let's say I have a strong prediction that it is going to rain, so I should say it will rain tomorrow. This is a strong prediction about something that will happen or take place in the future. And also for promises and offers to help, we use the future. I will help you. Okay. Yeah, I hope this is enough for the future. Now, let's continue with the future with big win 2. The difference between big win 2 and will is that when we have a plan or something that we are going to do in the future for sure, we use big win 2. I am going to travel next week. I have a plan, so I use big win 2. When there is no plan, use will. Okay? So future plans that are already made and predictions. he is going to study on weekend, so he has a plan to study on weekend. He isn't going to study Saturday. He has a plan not to do. He has a plan not to study this Saturday, so it's also a plan. Are you going to study Saturday? What are you going to study Saturday? So remember, when you have a plan, use big win too. When you have a plan to do something in the future, use big win too. When there is no plan to do something in the future, use just will. Okay, future continuous. Now, future continuous. The future continuous is used or is formed by using will plus be plus verb ing. Will be sleeping, will be writing, will be making, will be playing, will be eating, etc. Negative form will not be writing, will not be studying, will not be working, etc. And the question is formed with by doing the inversion. Will you be working tomorrow? Will you be studying? Will you be doing something in an hour from now? Etc. This is how we form the future continuous. Now, usage. An action that will occur in the future and continue for an expected period of time. The future continuous is used to talk about an action that will be in the future and will be long action, progressive action in the future. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I will be doing my homework. Tomorrow morning at 10, I will be doing my homework. It's a long action. Now, future perfect. The future perfect is formed by having will plus have plus past participle. Will have goes with all the verbs. Will have finished, will have done, will have talked, will have made, will have played. Okay, and the negative form is formed by using will, not, have plus past participle. She will not have finished by 10 o'clock. They will not have done all the homework. And the question is formed by doing inversion. Will you have done all your homework by 10 o'clock? Will she have finished by 10 o'clock? Okay, we also always start with have at the beginning. Now, let's talk about the usage. We are almost there. Actions that will be completed before another point in the future. Now, the future perfect talks about an action that will be completed at a specific time in the future or before a certain point in the future. Okay, 10 o'clock is the specific point or time in the future, and this action will be completed by this time. Okay, so she will have finished by 10 o'clock. Let's say a student is taking an English course, and this English course will have been done by let's say December 15, and we are today in let's say on August 23rd. So we should say he will have finished his English course by December 15. He will have finished his English course by December 15. An action that will be completed in the future by a certain time. This is the future perfect. Now, future perfect continuous, and this is the last one. We form the future perfect continuous by using will have been. Okay, here we have three auxiliaries. Will have been plus verb ing. Okay, will have been studying, will have been making, will have been writing, will have been doing, and this will have been go with all or goes with all the persons. I will have been, you will have been, he will have been, she will have been. It does not change with any, no matter what the subject is, singular or plural. Okay, now let's talk about the usage. Actions that will continue up until a point in the future. Okay, now to make it clearer, let's compare the future perfect continuous with the future continuous. Now look at the future continuous. I will be sleeping at midnight. They're going to be attending a concert at that time. Future perfect continuous. The future continuous is used when we are interested in the action, only the action. What will you be doing? I will be watching, I will be studying, I will be writing, I will be sleeping, I will be driving, I will be traveling. Now we use the future perfect continuous when we are interested in how long the action will be taken in the future. I will have been studying here for 1 hour. you will always see for that specifies the duration of the action. Okay, I will have been standing here for an hour when the train finally arrives. Okay, an action that will continue and will be in progress and up until a point in the future. When we are interested in how long the action will be, use the future perfect continuous. And when you are interested in the action itself, use just the future continuous. And by talking about the future perfect continuous, here we came to the end of this video and this class. Okay, I hope I clarified all the verb tenses, and I'm glad I could do it in one single video. Good job. I recommend that you watch the video as many times as possible, and yeah, do enough practice. Go online and practice. Verb tenses in English are very simple. All they need is that you understand the form and the usage for each one of the 12, as I mentioned before, and you practice each one of them. Okay, watch my other videos. I have a lot of other practices of the verb tenses, simple present, past, perfect, etc. And let me know if you need any help. Good luck to you. Thanks for watching. This was Hassan. Bye.